Welcome along to part 3 in my Hammer Horror series, where I talk about my Hammer Horror collection. Now, in the last 2 episodes, which I'll put down below in the link down below, you can look through my Dracula and Frankenstein films. You can look through the other films I had from different labels. And in this one, I just want to concentrate on all of my Studio Canal slipcase box versions that came out, I would say, around about the year 2011 till about 2014. Now, this was great. At this point, I assumed that Hammer Horror were going to be released by Studio Canal, which I was more than pleased with because I love Studio Canal's work. Whenever you get a Studio Canal film, you know it's going to be treated with uttermost respect. And so it was rushing through. I was getting one. It seemed to be one after week, and they were keeping you up to date with what was going to be coming out in the next couple of months, so you could plan yourself ahead. So you know in June and July you were going to get such and such and such and such. Set money aside, and it was ploughing ahead. It was great. Then all of a sudden it just stopped. Now I know that Studio Canal have recently released a spate more of them, a group of them, and I do need to get my hands on most of them with slipcases, hopefully, because it looks great on the shelves. These ones are all together. And unfortunately, I don't know, originally back in the day, the thing was that I'm going to say there's about 42 Hammer Horror films, which are, you can say most of them, if not all of them, are utter classics. And there was a thing that said, irrespective of Studio Canal, that said that Hammer were going to release the whole lot on Blu-ray and do a spectacular version of the whole lot. Now, this was great. Now, it started off with a vengeance. With, I think the first one that I got was Dracula, Prince of Darkness, and I was so impressed with it, and I so wanted to keep it going. And then just all of a sudden, it just seemed to tail off. Then it seemed to be picked up a little bit by Indicator, seemed to do a thing, but they've done big box sets, and some of the ones that they put in with the horror ones weren't really horror, so I didn't really go for that. I wanted to wait for them to come out to be standalone versions, which they are, but they're taking a long time to come out. And I do need to revisit my Hammer Horror mindset and say what is out there and what can I pick up now to make this. I did have a list of what every single film was in the Hammer Horror selection, but over the years it's went by because you move on to other things, and because the Hammer Horror lost its impetus, then I didn't tail off with it, but I thought, well, I look at other things, and then I do realise I've got to go back to the horror stuff, the Hammer Horror stuff, which I will do. But this is the third video, is just here to just specifically show the Studio Canal versions. So anyway, on my shelves, this is how they look, and the first one is Rasputin The Mad Monk, starring Christopher Lee. And this is a special edition. It's a DVD and Blu-ray combo. Now, these ones are all, I would say, in excellent prints. This one, funny enough, is shot in 235, so it's in a big widescreen. In fact, it might even be in a bigger than 235, maybe an ultra high ultra Panavision. And because they use, and I've seen this in a few of the Shaw Brother films, because they use a lens that is a bit sort of rounded, a bit I think it's convex, is it, that sticks out. When it does a pan and shot, it tends to look like you're looking at through a sort of a bubble, and the sides move a bit wrong, but that's just the way it was shot. And they just said because you use a cheaper lens on 235, that's because that's what happened. But you've got the option on this to watch it in a bigger scope, so you don't see those bits. I did prefer the 235, and I did know that it was moving a bit wrong, but I didn't mind that. But be aware that that's the case. And I think that's the only one that does it in the whole Hammer range. So there you have. And they've got a good, these all looking the same. They look like they could be out of a box set, you know. It's a shame they didn't do a box set of these films. So the extras with this one is 2 brand new documentaries, Told Stories, the making of Rasputin the Mad Monk, brought to book, Hammer novelizations, World of Hammer episode, Costumers, should I say, gallery commentary with Christopher Lee, Barbara Shelley, Francis Matthews and Suzanne Farmer. And it does say alternative 2.55 to 1 version. So yes, it's thicker bars, really thick bars in it. But you can have the option to not have them on if you wanted to. But it's a great film, that, and I think that Christopher Lee, I didn't know if I would like this film because I thought, well, is this going to be bloodthirsty? Is it going to be this, going to be that? But Rasputin, the person that he plays, is this despicable character, which is, it's very watchable. It's really good, actually, much better than I thought it was going to be. Now, the next one is The Reptile. Now, The Reptile here is another one that I used to see on telly all the time, and for some reason, the reptile, the character really frightened us. I was very young when I watched these things. To watch it these days, it's not, obviously, none of them are frightening. But you can see why a young person could be frightened by it. The extras on here are World of Hammer episode Wicked Women, brand new documentary The Serpent's Tail, and restoration comparison and restored trailer. So it always says fully restored and on Blu-ray for the first time. All these ones say that. Double play, Blu-ray and DVD. You get a booklet in there, it's just a Studio Canal booklet, and you get your 2 discs there. It's always interesting to look through these old catalogues to see what was out and what they were making a big thing about. What's new inside. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Another film that they mentioned is Tyrannosaur. Now that's an amazing film. I might talk about that in the future. So bleak and hard hitting. So that's The Reptile. Now remember, this film is good, but it's not one of the best ones that they did. And also it's funny because a lot of these ones, especially in this group here, they used to use the same sets and they would shoot them from different angles. So you might see a similar, they would just change the wallpaper, but you would see exactly the same fireplace or exactly the same set of stairs used in other films, which is really is a great thing to look at to say, hang on a minute, that set there is from Dracula Prince of Darkness, because they were doing them back to back and quick, smart, 2 a year, they just knocked them out. But I think they've done a really good version. It wasn't just cheap and chatty, it was plush and well done. Now this one here gets a lot of hate from the Hammer horror community. It's The Witches with Joan Fontaine. Now personally, I love this film. I can see why people don't like it. It hasn't got much in the way of blood and gore, and it does have a bit of a strange story. But for me, when you have that whole, this lady here is just a simple school mom who had a bad experience with voodoo, and she went back to this school to look after to work in this school, and there's something strange going on in this school. There's something that's not quite right. I do like videos like films like that have a thing going on that they know something's wrong, but they don't know what it is, and they don't know who's with them or against them. They get ultra paranoid and things happen to them, and they get told that, gaslighted, where they say, no, that never happened. But everybody's saying that, so this person thinks she's going crazy. And you get a brand new documentary, Hammer Glamour, as we're probably talking about the girls of Hammer. But this one for me, and the print on it is absolutely stunning. I've got to admit, it's one of the best Hammer films that I put on. Usually, sometimes when you put it on my 4K TV, you could think it was a 4K disc. It's unbelievable how some films from this year, I don't know when this film is from. You're talking a very early Hammer film here. You've got a double play there. Can I see it? Sometimes they're that small you can't see them even with my glasses on. I'm going to say very early 60s it is. And so I personally love this film, and I do highly recommend it. But you might get it, you may think, well, where's the blood, where's the gore, where's the violence? There's none in it to a certain extent. But the storyline, for me, I really like the storyline. I like that sort of Wicker Man, that type of thing going on. This next one is a one that I watched, and I thought it would be really, really good for the reason it's called Plague of the Zombies. Now, Plague of the Zombies is a great film title, and obviously it's one of the very first zombie films ever to be released, but there's not that many zombies in it, and it seems to be more like a sort of voodoo occult sort of thing, but they do raise the dead in it, so it isn't completely telling a fib, but it's not as much of a zombie film as you would think. But you can put that aside and you can see it for what it is. It looks lovely, and I do like the film, but maybe if you went in expecting Dawn of the Dead, you would be a little bit underwhelmed by it. So you get extras. You get World of Hammer episode, Mummies, Werewolves and the Living Dead, a brand new documentary, Raising the Dead, restoration comparison and restored trailer as well. So this one again, it's exactly the same format, and I like that fact that it was like so uniform on the shelves, and I like that sort of section to be like that. It's a shame that all the Hammer films weren't released by Studio Canal in that format. Although when they came back and done them in years later, maybe they took a break for about 4 or 5 years, and they come back and started to do them, they did carry on in that way. So that's quite good, but that means that I'm kind of stuck now. I need to buy every slipcase version of it. Now, because I didn't buy them on release, and I thought, oh, I'll get them in a bit of a sale, like 2 for 15, that type of thing. They've never come to that. I don't know why, but obviously I'm now stuck. I might have to go onto eBay to make sure that I get the slipcase cover versions of them. But that being said, if you don't get them, it doesn't matter that much if you don't have them. The next one is one of, it's a great film, although it was one of the latest and maybe even one of the last Hammer horror films. It might have even been the last one. I think it was the second last one actually. The Devil Rides Out with Christopher Lee. And the extras are 3 brand new documentaries, Black Magic, The Making of Devil Rides Out, The Power of Light, Restoring the Devil Rides Out, Dennis Wheatley at Hammer, World of Hammer episode Hammer, it says, gallery commentary featuring Christopher Lee, Sarah Lawson and Marcus Hearn. Now this one here is a sort of an occultist tale, and it's for me, Christopher Lee has a standout role in this. I always think he's good in whatever he does, especially Hammer stuff. He just stands out for some reason. And this is, it says, Devil Rides Out is one of Hammer's most accomplished and thrilling mystery horrors. So I don't know why it says mystery horrors, but anyway, to me it's one of them ones where when I used to watch it, I used to get the impression of it being, like quite sinister and quite, I didn't like the fact of they were calling the devil up and the devil was coming in the room and it was all around this, the whole, what's it called? The satanic pentagram, all that type of thing. So I didn't like that sort of aspect to it. I didn't like it. I was a bit frightened of it. I think you shouldn't have messed around with that type of thing. Maybe that's what I thought when I was a kid. The next one is, now Hammer have done quite a few of the Mummy films, but this is the only, I think only own 2, although there's more out there. And I do want to get my hands on all the Mummy ones, although I do know that they're not that good in the scheme of things. They're not anywhere near as good as the Dracula and the Frankenstein ones. I do like them though. And this one here was meant to be one of the poorer ones of the Mummies. I don't know how many they did, maybe 4 or 5. But I thought it was a great film. I did enjoy it. You get 2 brand new documentaries, The Beat Goes On, The Making of the Mummy Shroud, Remembering David Buck, and Hammer trailers and galleries. Now, for me, sometimes when you watch these films, you can forgive them the shortcomings, because I think when you watch them when you're a kid, you love them and you get frightened with them, or you don't really get that frightened with them, but you like that type of film. When you're an adult, you might think, what a load of rubbish. When you get into your sort of, when you're younger, maybe about in your 20s and you're thinking of everything, you might say, I'm done with them. Then you might come back to them in later life. Now me, I've always liked these films, but even if a film's not that great, I can just think of myself, well, it was of its time, and I just watch it and just take it for what it is, and I don't try to think that it's the best thing since sliced bread or that type of thing. But I did like this film, but it does get people, a lot of people say that they don't find it that good as a Mummies film, but I do like it. But I would like to buy them all and watch them in sequence. I don't know if they follow in sequence, but I'd like to find out. Now this one here, I've just bought this very recently, and I haven't watched it yet, but I have watched it back in the day, and it is the 3rd part in the Cardstein / Camilla series, and it is Lust for a Vampire. Now, as you can see, this is many years after these lot here, but it's in the same format, which I think is great that they've kept it that way. The extras in here are new featurette, Strange Love, Hammer in 1970, script to screen, To Love a Vampire, and Judy Matheson interview and stills gallery. Now, I notice this one's an 18. There's hardly any ones that are 18s, apart from Countess Dracula. And it's probably 18s for a bit more of a mature theme to it. I think Hammer did, explore that in the early 70s. Maybe they were pushing the censorship boundaries a little bit. But the memory I have of this film, but I will be watching this film, I want to watch the trilogy again actually and just see what they're like as a trilogy, although I don't think they're really, they don't follow each other, which isn't a problem. I do think that this one here, I remember, if I remember it, that Ralph Bates is in it. I remember Ralph Bates is in it. He was quite a lot in Hammer horror films. And a lady here called Ute Stensgaard. Now, I don't know anything about it apart from this film. And I can just remember it being one of them films that used to be on and used to chance upon it and used to watch these three more adult themed vampire ones, and this one's probably full of the Hammer horror glamour women. But so that's the last one in my Studio Canal series of Hammer films. So if you like this video, please check out the other ones, and if you like it, please give a like, and if you like, subscribe to my channel. That would mean a great deal to me. And also thanks to everybody who goes and subscribes to me and watches my movies and comments on my movies. I do appreciate that, and I do try my best to answer everybody and every comment that's put on. I do think that's the least I can do. And also, I would like to say that sometimes I might miss a one, but I will go back on my videos and I will catch up with it eventually. And if I have missed one, just comment on another one. I will not take offence that I missed, say to me, give me a slap across the head and say, excuse me, do you mind answering this question? I don't mind. I never get offended. Nothing offends me apart from bad horror. Okay, so anyway, and if you're thinking that's got something to do with MC Hammer, you'd be right. Not that I like MC Hammer, but I was trying to think of a little line to go with this, and I couldn't think of anything, but then I thought, Hammer time. I'm not going to dance now. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks very much.